Hare Krishna. So, we welcome you all to this reading session on Krishna book, chapter number 16. So, many devotees had sent us a few messages that what will be the schedule this time? Will we be having a combined quiz or will we be having chapter number 16 test? So, combined quiz will be after this test, that is on upcoming Sunday, will be having the test of chapter number 16, and on next to next Sunday, that after the coming Sunday, we will have the combined test of chapter number 12 to 16. So, we'll begin this session by this wonderful prayer from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 pahi mam. Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav, pahi mam. The pranam mantra of Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in the previous chapter, that's by the end of the chapter number 15, we had learned that the friends and the cows who were present with Lord Krishna, they had gone to the bank of the Yamuna, and when they had taken the water from the Yamuna, all of them became almost apparently dead because the water was being made poisonous by a serpent by the name Kalia. So now, then Lord Krishna glanced over them and brought them back to life, and all of them were feeling very grateful that they could understand that they had actually died, but Lord Krishna brought them back to consciousness. So from here on, we will study the second what next transpires into the story. So the name of the chapter is Subduing Kalia. So it's not the killing of Kalia, but the chapter name is Subduing Kalia. So we'll study it over from where we had discussed. When he understood that the water of the Yamuna was being polluted by the black serpent Kalia, Lord Krishna took action against him and made him leave the Yamuna and go elsewhere, and thus the water became purified. So Lord Krishna took action against him. He made him leave the place, and but he did not kill him. So that's why the chapter name is Subduing Kalia. When the story was being narrated by Shukdev Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit became eager to hear more about Krishna's childhood pastimes. He inquired from Shukadev Goswami how Krishna chastised Kalia, who had been living in the water for many years. Actually, Maharaj Parikshit was becoming more and more enthusiastic to hear the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, and his inquiry was made with great interest. So we see that as all of you have been reading Krishna book, so your interest in knowing more and more has grown by the day. And similarly, Parikshit Maharaj also requested Shukdev Goswami that please tell me more. He was getting so much inquisitiveness. Shukdev Goswami narrated the story as follows. Within the river Yamuna, there was a great lake, and in that lake, the black serpent Kalia used to live. So, within the Yamuna itself, there was another lake which had some dimensions, and Kalia used to live in that lake. Because of his poison, the whole area was so contaminated that it emanated a poisonous vapor 24 hours a day. If a bird happened to even pass over that spot, it would immediately die and fall down into the water. Due to the poisonous effect of Jamuna's vapors, the trees and the grass near the bank of Jamuna had all dried up. Lord Krishna saw the effect of the great serpent's poison. The whole river that ran before Vrindavan was now deadly. So, because of Kalia's poison, the whole river had become deadly. Krishna, who had advented himself just to kill all undesirable elements in the world, immediately climbed up into a big Kadamba tree on the bank of the Yamuna. So there was a big tree, Kadamba tree, and Krishna climbed up on that tree. The Kadamba is a tree bearing round yellow flowers that is generally seen only in Vrindavan area. After climbing to the top of the tree, he tightened his belt cloth and slapping his arms just like a wrestler, he jumped into the midst of the poisonous lake. The Kadamba tree from which Krishna jumped was the only tree which was not dead. So it is written that else everything had all dried up. If we see the trees, the grass near the bank of the Jamuna had all dried up, this was the only tree which was not dead. Some commentators say that due to being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna, the tree immediately became alive. In some other Puranas, it is stated that Garuda, the eternal carrier of Vishnu, knew that Krishna would take this action in the future, and so he put some nectar on this tree to preserve it. So there are two explanations. Everything had died except this tree because either one explanation is that Lord Krishna, when he touched that tree, it became alive, and the second is that Garuda had put some nectar or amrita on it, and that's why this tree was alive or not had not dried up. So, when Lord Krishna jumped into the water, the river overflooded its bank to a distance of 100 yards, as if something very large had fallen into it. This exhibition of Krishna's strength is not at all uncommon because he is the reservoir of all strength. When Krishna was swimming about just like a great strong elephant, he made a tumultuous sound which the great black serpent Kalia could hear. So Lord Krishna, when he entered into the Yamuna, he the river banks overflowed, and then he made a sound just like a large strong elephant, and he was swimming like a strong elephant. He made a very strong sound which Kalia could hear. The tumult was intolerable for him, and he could understand that this was an attempt to attack his home. Therefore, he immediately came before Krishna. Kalia saw that Krishna was indeed worth seeing because his body was so beautiful and delicate. Its color resembled that of a cloud. His feet were resembled lotus flowers. He was decorated with Srivatsa jewels and yellow garments. Srivatsa is a sign that is on the chest of the Lord. There's other jewels, and so we see something which is very amazing that Kalia is admiring the beauty of the Lord. This has never happened with any other demon before. He was smiling with a beautiful face and playing in the river Yamuna with great strength. But in spite of Krishna's beautiful features, Kalia felt great anger within his heart, and thus he grabbed Krishna with his mighty coils. Seeing the incredible way in which Krishna was enveloped in the coils of the serpent, the affectionate cowherd boys and other inhabitants of Vrindavan immediately became stunned out of fear. So, all the friends of Krishna who were standing on the bank and seeing, they immediately became fearful when they saw that Krishna was enveloped in the coils of the serpent. They had dedicated everything to Krishna. Their lives, their property, affection, activities, everything was for Krishna. And when they saw him in that condition, they became overwhelmed with fear and fell onto the ground. All the cows, bulls, and small calves became overwhelmed with grief, and they began to look at him with great anxiety. Out of fear, They could only cry in agony and stand erect on the bank, unable to help their beloved Krishna. While this scene was taking place on the bank of the Jamuna, there were ill omens manifest. So, till now, the Vrindavan Vasis do not know what is happening. Now, once this has happened, Krishna has been taken in the coils of, enveloped in the coils of Kalia. So now, the whole Vrindavan is experiencing ill omens. The earth trembled, meteors fell from the sky, and the left side of the men's body shivered. All these are indication of great immediate danger. Observing the inauspicious signs, the cowherd men, including Maharaj Nanda, became very anxious out of fear. At the same time, they were informed that Krishna had gone to the pasturing ground without his elder brother Balaram. So, in the previous chapter, we had learned that sometimes Lord Krishna was accompanied by his brother and sometimes not. He used to go with his friends. So, when everybody realized that today Balramji had not gone, now it was a big danger. As soon as Nanda and Yashoda and the cowherd men heard this news, they became even more anxious. Out of their great affection for Krishna and being unaware of the extent of his potencies, they became overwhelmed with grief and anxiety because they had nothing dearer than Krishna and because they had dedicated their everything life, property, affection, mind, and activities to Krishna. Because of their great attachment for Krishna, they thought today Krishna is surely going to be vanquished. They were feeling so much anxiety and were so fearful about Krishna that they thought that today we will lose Krishna. All the inhabitants of Vrindavan came out of the village to see Krishna. The assembly consisted of children, old men, women, animals, and all living entities. They knew that Krishna was their only means of sustenance. While this was happening, Balaram, who is the master of all knowledge, stood there simply smiling. So Lord Balaram is smiling, rest everybody is full of anxiety. Balaram, who is the master of all knowledge, stood there simply smiling. He knew how powerful his younger brother was and that there was no cause for anxiety when Krishna was fighting with an ordinary serpent of the material world. The Lord, who is the originator of millions of universes, what can a petty servant of this material world do to him? So Balramji was completely anxiety free. On the other hand, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, sorry, he knew how powerful his younger brother was and that there was no cause for anxiety when Krishna was fighting with an ordinary serpent of the material world. He did not, therefore, personally take part in their sorrow. On the other hand, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, being disturbed, began to search out Krishna by following the impressions of his footprints on the ground. So everybody now started searching because they didn't know that what exactly has happened. So they started to follow Krishna's footsteps. So now Krishna's footsteps are unique because they carry specific symbols. So finally, by following the impression of his footprints, they thus hastily moved towards the bank of the Jamuna. Finally, by following the footprints marked with the flag, bow, and conch shell, the inhabitants of Vrindavan arrived at the river bank and saw that all the cows and boys were weeping to behold Krishna enwrapped in the coils of the black serpent. So when they reached there, so here it's being told that the footprints of the Lord are marked with the flag, bow, and conch shell. Actually, there are many more things, but these are three prominent things which appear on the lotus feet of the Lord. So, when the inhabitants of Vrindavan they were following the footprints, so they followed and they reached the bank of the Jamuna, and what did they see? That Lord Krishna is in the coils of the demon, or not the demon, but rather the great serpent. Kali is not a demon. He has not been sent by Kamsa. He was living there for a lot of time. The inhabitants of Vrindavan arrived at the bank and saw that cows and boys were weeping. Then they became still more overwhelmed with grief. While Balaram was smiling to see their lamentation, all the inhabitants of Vrajbhumi merged into an ocean of grief because they thought that Krishna was finished. Although the residents of Vrindavan did not know much about Krishna, their love for him was beyond comparison. They did not know that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. They just understood that he is simply their little child, right? but their love for Krishna was incomparable. As soon as they saw that Krishna was in the river Jamuna, enveloped by the serpent Kaliya, and that all the boys and cows were lamenting, they simply began to think of Krishna's friendship, his smiling face, his sweet words, and his dealings with them. Thinking of all these and seeing that their Krishna was now within the clutches of Kaliya, they at once felt that the three worlds had become vacant. They felt that there's nothing left for us. If Krishna is gone today, what's the benefit of life? The whole three worlds have become vacant. Lord Chaitanya also said that he was seeing the three worlds as vacant for want of Krishna. This is the highest stage of Krishna consciousness. Almost all of the inhabitants of Vrindavan had the highest ecstatic love for Krishna. Shunyayatam Jagat Sarvam Govind Virahename. So Lord Chaitanya says that this whole world appears to be simply zero for me. There's nothing left for me in the separation from Govinda. When Mother Yashoda arrived, she wanted to enter the river Yamuna, and being checked, she fainted. Her friends, who were equally aggrieved, were shedding tears like torrents of rain or waves of the river. But in order to bring Mother Yashoda to consciousness, they began to speak loudly about the transcendental pastimes of Krishna. So when Mother Yashoda came, she wanted to enter into the Jamuna to protect her child. But when she was stopped by other people, she fainted. And now, to bring her back to consciousness, what did they do? Vrindavan Vasi started glorifying, speaking loudly about the pastimes of the Lord. So she came back to consciousness, but she remained still. She did not get up. Her whole consciousness was fixed on Krishna, on Krishna's face. Mother Yashoda remained still as if dead because her consciousness was concentrated on the face of Krishna. Nanda and all other cowherd men who had dedicated everything, including their lives to Krishna, were ready to enter the waters of the Yamuna. But Lord Balram checked them. Balramji said, no, nobody will go. Because he had perfect knowledge that there was no danger. For 2 hours, Krishna remained like an ordinary child. So, for 2 hours, full 2 hours, Lord was enveloped in the coils of Kaliya like this, right? uh, in the coils of the Kaliya. But when he saw all the inhabitants of Gokul, including his mother and father, the gopis, the boys, and the cows, were just on the point of death. Well, they were so much in anxiety that they were on the verge of death. Then Lord said, "No, now it's time to stop this whole activity." So, including his mother and father and the gopis and the boys and the cows were just on the point of death, and they had no other shelter for salvation from imminent death. Krishna immediately freed himself. He began to expand his body, and when the serpent tried to hold him, he felt a great strain. On account of the strain, his coil slackened, and he had no alternative but to let loose the personality of Godhead from his grasp. So Lord Krishna started expanding himself, and Kaliya was unable to hold him within his coils, and he had to let his grip loose. So we see a similar phenomenon when Lord Krishna had killed Aghasur. He entered into his mouth and started expanding himself, and the demon choked and he died. Similarly, in the same case as Kaliya, Lord is not present in his mouth. Both are snakes, right? And if we see, Lord Krishna is expanding himself. So he is Yogeshwara. He has all the siddhis. So he's expanding himself. On account of the strain, his coils slackened, and he had no alternative but to let loose the personality of Godhead Krishna from his grasp. Krishna then became very angry, and his Kaliya then became very angry, and his great so Kaliya, when this happened, he had to loosen his grip. He became very angry, and he expanded his hoods like normally a snake expands its hoods. He exhaled poisonous fumes from his nostrils. His eyes blazed like fire, and flames issued from his mouth. The great serpent remained still for some time, looking at Krishna, licking his lips with bifurcated tongues. So, a snake normally has bifurcated tongues, and what was he doing? He was simply looking at Krishna for some time. The serpent looked at Krishna with double hoods, and his eyesight was full of poison. Krishna immediately pounced on him, just as Garuda swoops upon a snake. Thus attacked, Kalia looked for an opportunity to bite him, but Krishna moved around him. As Krishna and Kalia moved in a circle, the serpent gradually became fatigued, and his strength seemed to diminish considerably. Krishna immediately pressed down the serpent's hoods to jump and jumped on them. The Lord's lotus feet became tinged with red from the rays of the jewels on the snake's hoods. Then he, who is the original artist of all fine arts, such as dancing, began to dance upon the hoods of the serpent, although they were moving to and fro. So now this is a very wonderful pastime that's happening, that the stage is moving. So Krishna, who is the original artist, he's dancing on a stage which is moving to and fro. So people normally show their talent on dancing on floors, but that floor never shakes. But Lord Krishna is dancing on a floor when the floor is also moving to and fro. It's moving, uh, and it's unstable. Upon seeing this, the denizens of the upper planets showered flowers, beat drums, played different types of flutes, and sang various prayers and songs. In this way, all the denizens of heaven, such as Gandharvas, Siddhas, and demigods, became very much pleased. So, here we see that now Lord Krishna started dancing on the hoods of Kaliya. While Krishna was dancing on his hoods, Krishna tried to push him down with some of his other hoods. Kalia had about 100 hoods, so Kalia had almost 100 hoods, right? So, but Krishna took control of them. He began to dash Kalia with his lotus feet, and this was more than the serpent could bear. Gradually, Kalia was reduced to struggling for his very life. So it seems that he would die very soon. He vomited all kinds of refuse and exhaled fire. While throwing up poisonous material from within, Kalia became reduced in his sinful situation. Out of great anger, he began to struggle for existence and tried to raise one of his hoods to kill the Lord. So he immediately raised one of his hoods to kill the Lord. The Lord immediately captured that hood and subdued it by kicking it and dancing on it. So whenever he used to raise the hood to strike the Lord, to hit him, Lord Krishna used to jump on that very hood. It actually appeared as if the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu was being worshipped. The poisons emanating from the mouth of the serpent appeared to be like flower offerings. Kalia then began to vomit blood instead of poison. So, till now he was uh, giving out poison from his mouth, but now he started vomiting blood. He was completely fatigued. His whole body appeared to be broken by the kicks of the Lord. Within his mind, however, he finally began to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he surrendered unto him. So we see that this is the difference. All the demons that had came before, when they could not understand only that he is the Supreme Lord. One place we feel that ki Putna, at one point she felt that this child is very powerful, but still she did not stop her nefarious activities. But in this case, if we see, when Kalia understood that he is the Supreme Lord, he surrendered himself. He realized that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, the master of everything. The wives of the serpent, known as the Nagapatnis, saw that their husband had been subdued by the Lord's kicking, and he was almost at the point of death due to bearing the heavy burden of the Lord, within whose abdomen the whole universe remains. So, so at this juncture, we see that the wives of Kaliya come into picture. So Lord Krishna has subdued Kaliya. Now Kaliya's wives have come and they started to pray to the Lord. And what they are going to present the case of their husband, that why you should grant him, he is apologizing and he's sorry, so please grant his life. So Kalia's wife prepared to worship the Lord, and in their haste, their clothes, hair, and ornaments became disarrayed. They also surrendered unto the Supreme Lord and began to pray. If you remember, we had sung one song few days back which is called Jai Radhe, Jai Krishna, Jai Vrindavan. So in that, there one stanza comes. जयो द्विज पत्नी जयो नाग कन्यागन भक्ति तेजहारा पाइलो गोविंदा चरण. So here is the mention of Nag Kanya or the Nag Patnis. So in few chapters ahead, we will study about Dvij Patnis, the wives of the Brahmanas, and in this chapter, we are studying about Nag Patnis, which are the wives of Kalia. The Nagpatnis knew that Krishna is the shelter of all surrendered souls, and they desired to release their husband from the impending danger by pleasing the Lord with their prayers. The Nagpatnis began to offer their prayers as follows: O dear Lord, you are equal to everyone. Therefore, the punishment you have so kindly offered to Kalia is exactly befitting. That is justified. O Lord, you have descended especially for the purpose of annihilating all kinds of disturbing elements within the world, and because you are the absolute truth, there is no difference between your mercy and your punishment. And this is what we see. Lord Krishna, he killed Putana apparently, but actually he was that was his mercy. He gave her the position of a mother, right? So that's what the Patnis, the Nag Patnis are telling Lord Krishna, that your mercy and your punishment are, there is no difference. We think, therefore, that this apparent punishment of Kaliya is actually some benediction. We consider that your punishment is your great mercy upon us, because when you punish someone, it is to be understood that the reactions of his sinful activities are eradicated. It is already clear that this creature, appearing in the body of a serpent, must have been overburdened with all kinds of sin. Otherwise, how could he have been in a body of a serpent? Because the body of a serpent generally is given to a living entity who is very envious. The snakes, the scorpions, they are very envious of others. And if you pass by a snake, even if you don't disturb it, it generally tends to bite you for no reason of yours, no fault of yours, right? So it's said in the Shastra that a serpent or a scorpion, he should. They are very envious living entities. So if he has done a lot of sinful activities, that is why he has got the body of a serpent. Your dancing on his hoods has reduced all the sinful results of his actions caused by his having the body of a serpent. It is therefore very auspicious that you have become angry and have punished him in this way. We are very much astonished to see how you have become so much pleased with this serpent, who evidently performed various religious activities in his past lives that pleased everyone. So now they are again confused. They are astonished that if you have touched this fellow, he must have done something good in his previous life. Otherwise, why would he receive a punishment from you, right? It is therefore very auspicious that you have become angry and have punished him in this way. He must have undergone all kinds of penances and austerities, humbly honored others, and executed universal welfare activities for all living creatures. So here Nagpatnis are paying their regards to Lord Krishna, and they are basically requesting to the Lord that please forgive our husband. He is in the body of a serpent and he has done a lot of mistakes, but by your mercy you have liberated him from all those sinful activities, the results of those sinful activities. So, what we'll do is we will halt our discussion today for this chapter, and we will discuss the rest part of this chapter tomorrow. And on the coming Sunday, we'll be having the test of chapter number 16, and post that, our test on combined chapter 12 to 16 will be held on next Sunday, right? So thank you very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And one more announcement, that many of you had filled the enrollment form and I was a little busy with some work, so I was not able to send. But today only I posted enrollment numbers for those devotees who have not got them. So you need not participate with 25,000 as a roll number. I have sent roll numbers for everybody who has filled the enrollment form. So please do check it and use the same so that we can recognize your participation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Hitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.